Today I'm going to react to Unnatural Vegan's latest video, Should I Feed My Vegan Kids Eggs and Milk?
Eggs, milk, fish several times a week for parents who do not eat those foods, who don't have them in the house. I've been asked quite a lot, especially recently, about food allergies and vegan kids. You can probably guess why looking at this list of the top 8 most common food allergens, the ones that make up about 90% of allergic reactions. Several of these clearly are not vegan, so what's a vegan parent to do? What did I do with my now 6-year-old and 3-year-old? What will I do with my 3-month-old who will be eating food pretty soon? The numbers vary, but the worst one I found, the worst stat, said 11% or almost 11%, more than 26 million American adults have food allergies. Close to half of these developed during adulthood, and more than half have experienced a severe reaction. Similar estimate for kids, 8%, and more than 40% of those have ended up in the emergency room. Peanut, tree nut, shellfish, and finned fish tend to be more severe, and people.
Yes, but you gotta realize, Unnatural Vegan, which clearly you're very unnatural. That was both needed and clearly for emphasis. But you don't understand that these food allergies also happen because of, like, some of them, yes, some of them could be because their bodies just don't react well to it. They just can't digest it properly. But then other issues that are related to food, like intolerances or whatever, are purely a gut thing. And how does the gut get destroyed? You might not realize, Unnatural Vegan, but it is from gluten, from fiber, and from excess sugar. Okay. Off my soapbox now for a little bit.
Are less likely to outgrow them. Children are less likely to outgrow them. You can see that represented here with this study on US adults. For example, only about 25% of children will outgrow a peanut allergy. On the other hand, a child has a pretty good chance of outgrowing a milk or egg allergy.
Maybe look into the milk thing a bit more there, animal eater, because clearly, the people that go to raw milk actually have a lot better of an outlook. They think, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. Then they try raw milk and they're like, holy crap, I'm sensitive to the regular store-bought cheese, so I have to buy raw milk cheese. Guess what? So much better. And I feel so much better. I love it so much more. Okay? And look into the egg allergy thing. You might be surprised to find that it could just be the whites. I wonder why that is. I wonder why it's just the whites and not the yolks. What's in the yolks compared to the whites? I wonder.
It's speculated this is because most kids, including most kids with allergies to milk and egg, continue to be exposed to milk and egg. As we vegans are all too aware.
Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah, it doesn't work because it doesn't get worse because, oh, I'm eating a whole bunch of gluten on top of my bacon and eggs and toast in the morning. Like, I'm eating like the toast with the bacon and eggs. I'm probably drinking something that has a gluten additive in there or something on the side. I'm drinking milkshakes and all this stuff with this other crap added into it. No, let's not blame that. Let's just blame the milk and eggs itself. Okay, yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, that's how a lion develops an allergy to, like, oh yeah, right, lions don't have any.
Where most baked goods have milk and or egg in them, and being exposed to
baked goods is the key word here. What else is in a baked good? Let's see. Flour. Probably egg white. If egg at all. Because it's low fat, more than likely. Canola oil, which is probably highly oxidized at that point. Let's see. We've got sugar, probably margarine, if not canola oil. Any kind of plant oil that has oxidized. Peanut butter, which is a lectin. Anything else? No, let's blame the milk and egg. Yeah, okay.
To tiny amounts of allergenic foods may help those with allergies build up a tolerance and slowly outgrow them. But what about prevention? If tiny amounts of allergenic foods over a period of time can help with building up a tolerance, maybe the same approach could help with preventing allergies altogether. For peanuts, that definitely seems to be true. Several years ago, the guidance changed from peanut avoidance for children to gradual peanut introduction as early as 4 months. So once your baby starts eating, you should start giving them peanuts.
One problem with that. The immunity, I don't think, is high enough at 4 months. And these babies are being vaccinated with fake stuff. So, yeah. I think. I could be wrong on that. Because, I mean, the chickenpox vaccine never really changes. Like, it stays the same because the virus itself hasn't changed. It's still a thing. So, I mean, I don't know about chickenpox vaccines versus like the flu shot vaccines, but definitely, yeah. You want to look into more naturopathic forms of vaccines and stop feeding them shite, and maybe you won't have these problems as severely if you get any kind of problem at all.
That's because research has shown that little kids eating peanuts have a much lower chance.
And why would a 4-month-old eat peanuts? Why? Why would a 4-month-old eat peanuts?
Of developing a peanut allergy. There's less research on other foods, but there is some. This study found an increased risk for egg allergy with later introduction and a decreased risk for those introduced to egg at 4 to 6 months. This one found a much lower risk for babies with eczema, and this one had similar results, but for fish. Obviously, this doesn't guarantee that you will prevent your child from developing an allergy, but it definitely makes sense that early and frequent.
Are her teeth moving as she's talking? I'm genuinely curious. She sounds like every word she speaks.
Frequent exposure to allergenic foods would decrease the risk, especially for high-risk babies. Frequent, I think, is really the big issue here, at least for me. I mean, it would be one thing if you just gave your kid an egg or a piece of egg or a little sip of milk one time, but that's not how it works. You've got to do it 2 to 3 times a week, starting at about 4 to 6 months until about a year. Vegan opinion on what to do about all of this is kind of all over the place. Registered dietitian Carla Moreno-Bryce from vegankidsnutrition.com basically says, you do you, and talk to your kid's pediatrician, but she's clearly leaning toward not giving your kids animal-derived allergens, and she did not give them to her own children.
Oh, I bet you her children are, if they're alive still, I bet you they hate her guts right now. Like, oh, I can't have any butter thanks to you, Mom. I have to tell my teachers, oh, that has butter. No, I can't have that because that has cheese. I can't have this because that has eggs. I can't have this because that has chicken in it. And the teachers are like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, this is the food that we have. I'm sorry.
It's not uncommon for children in Asia to have a food allergy to chestnuts. This is a food that is widely found in their diet. However, that doesn't mean that chestnuts should be introduced early and often to children who live in other countries where this food is not consumed by the family. It doesn't make sense for me to introduce chestnuts as a way to prevent an allergy when this food is not regularly part of our diet. kind of a weird argument. I mean, we're not talking about chestnuts or some other uncommon food. We're talking about foods that are found everywhere. Milk and eggs. The concern, number one, is accidental exposure. The more common a food, the more likely this.
Yeah, because milk and eggs aren't single ingredient food, right? They have so many preservatives added, right? Because how would they add that to the eggs, though? I wonder. Because if you look on the box and it just says eggs, I wonder. Eggs are clearly not a single ingredient food, though, right? Fats, protein, carbs. Very, 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 very little carbs. But carbs. There's some carbs. Oh, and what's in milk? Fats, proteins, carbs. What am I missing here? Let's say they're a healthy cow, right? Let's say you got the milk from a perfectly healthy cow, from a perfectly well cared for environment. Fats, protein, carbs. What am I missing? What am I missing here? You can let me know.
Can occur. And two, we don't really know what our kids will eat once they get out of the house, and we don't know if they'll stay vegan once they get older. That's the argument vegan dietitian Lauren Penoff makes for introducing these allergens for her own kids who had mild eczema during infancy. She seems to imply the process is pretty easy. Regular exposure to allergens generally means several times a week. This doesn't need to be huge amounts of food. For instance, it could be part of a scrambled egg, a small serving of a muffin made with eggs and milk, a few bites of salmon, a few teaspoons of dairy.
This is a horrible, horrible, horrible way to live. Can you imagine you take one bite of something and then you're like, okay, that's it. The kid would love it, and then they're like, I want more of it though, I want more. Like, can you imagine? I've never really heard of an allergy to salmon so much, although maybe. But wow. Wow. Just wow.
Dairy, yogurt, etc. No, it's not a lot of food at any given time, but it is a lot of food overall. Eggs, milk, fish, several times a week for parents who do not eat those foods, who don't have them in the house. It's a lot. And for those of us who do this for ethical reasons, for animal welfare reasons, it's really depressing.
People have got to stop putting ethical, health, animal reasons, blah, blah, blah. Oh my god. It's not about animals. When it comes to diet, you can't make that excuse. That's why I flipped out in my last video about, shut up about morals. That's why I said that. You can't trick your biology.
Cooking egg, cooking fish 2 to 3 times a week for months. But Lauren is not the only vegan who makes this argument. Vegan dietitians Whitney English and Alexandra Caspero say
it's not hard to cook eggs, fish, and stuff like that once a week. It's not hard to drink milk. But even once a week, that's not enough because a human needs freaking protein. Ugh, these people drive me up the wall.
Say the same thing in their excellent book, The Plant-Based Baby and Toddler, and they did give.
Yeah, and look how I turned out because I was heavily plant-based. You should see me. I am half the size I probably should be.
These foods to their own kids as well. As for me, I can understand both sides. While I certainly don't agree that a decision is best purely because it's in line with one's own culture or their family situation, I do agree that upending one's food environment just for a reduced risk in something that is typically easily managed is a big ask. And while I certainly don't think this is minimal at all, I do understand parents with high-risk kids doing what they can to minimize allergy development.
Okay, when I said 1/2, maybe that was a little bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, I'm very, very, very tiny, and I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been plant-based, Not vegan, but plant-based, heavily plant-based. Oh, you didn't cut the meat out. No, I cut enough meat out. It was awful. The more meat I didn't eat, the worse everything got. Everything was bad, okay? Carnivore is the only thing, or close to it, that at least somewhat saved me from like becoming weaker, becoming more like frail, right? Like I need this meat, and I've realized now that so does every other human. I don't have the most of the problems that other humans do now because I eat the proper biologically appropriate diet.
For my kids, I personally did not worry about allergy development other than peanut. It's very common, it's more likely to be severe, and again, probably lifelong. Plus, it's a very important source of protein and fat for vegans.
Yeah, but they don't work.
So we definitely did give our 2 older kids watered down peanut butter from very early on, and we'll do the same.
Could you imagine the disgustingness and consistency of watered down peanut butter? Okay, if you can't, I dare you to go fill up put a small amount of peanut butter in a bowl, add some water to it, and mix it in. Then eat it. I dare you. I can imagine it because it, like, I just can. I know what water does to peanuts, to anything thick. Can you imagine? Ugh! Gross.
Same for final baby very soon. But egg, milk, fish, no. Unlike, say, vaccines, there's just far less benefit here and far more inconvenience and sadness. And yuck factor, if I'm being honest. Eggs, fish are disgusting, even if we
Eggs and fish are disgusting. I don't want to eat eggs and fish anymore.
weren't vegan, there's no way in hell I would be scrambling eggs 3 times a week. And remember, they're
No, you think they're disgusting. You think they're gross. I know you've had eggs before. If anything, you probably just had eggs without a little bit of salt. And I mean a little bit. Don't put a whole friggin' thing of salt on it. Or you made it in margarine. Dumbo.
There aren't any guidelines for milk or egg or anything other than for peanut introduction, and these guidelines only apply to kids at moderate to high risk. For low-risk kids, you can introduce them early if you want, but it's really up to you, which makes sense, again.
How would you know your kid is low risk? Like, dude, I drowned her out so much because she made me so mad.
And even for peanut allergy, the risk of a life-threatening, the risk of a severe allergy is very low. My pediatrician, who was very concerned when we first met about just one kid at the time, my first kid, being vegan.
She had every right to be. And because I know exactly why you don't show them. You don't show your kids because you're ashamed. You're ashamed that you feed them vegan. You know they're not doing as well as they should be, and you are ashamed.
He's never brought up allergens to us. And I do find the concern toward vegans specifically kind of weird. I mean, it's not
kind of weird. Kind of weird? Look at the data, the real data of veganism. Look at it. Look at it.
Not like non-vegan families are regularly eating all of these foods. How many American kids are regularly eating tree nuts 2 to 3 times per week? How many pediatricians are insisting parents give their kids almonds and walnuts on a regular basis? I wish I had a more definitive answer here, but not everything has a definitive answer, even for vaccines. Can you believe I'm saying that? For my older kids, while we have definitely vaccinated them for flu and COVID, I really don't think it's a huge deal if parents don't. Severe outcomes for children from either COVID or the flu is just so unlikely. On the other hand, I rarely put my kids in a car, and when we do drive, it's almost never on the highway. We're usually going max 35 miles per hour. We are very fortunate to have that option, and I love it. Cars are far more dangerous than COVID or the flu or allergies. And the
Oh my goodness, you're even paranoid of a car. Wow. You're paranoid. I can hear it deep down. You're paranoid. You're paranoid every time you get behind the wheel. You're like, what are we gonna do today? I don't want to ram my kids into a frickin'. Your vision's getting bad too, probably.
vegans in the room are gonna clutch their pearls at this, but I just don't think a reduced risk for food allergies justifies this. Certainly not for my kids who are low risk. I do want to briefly mention this pre-made oatmeal that has egg and milk. I saw this on Instagram, of course. My ads are either vegan food or baby shit. Anyway, it's specifically for allergy introduction, and it may be a more palatable option for vegan parents who do want to introduce milk and egg, since it's just a powder you mix into food. It's super expensive at $39.99.
Wow. 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 Holy crap, wow.
A month, but that's if you give it to them every day, which of course they're recommending 2 to 3 times per week is a lot more reasonable. If you're interested in that approach, I would definitely talk to your doctor and see what they say. Now, if you have backyard hens and that's where you're getting eggs, I don't think you have anything to worry about from an ethical standpoint, even if you're getting the eggs and paying
Okay, then why aren't you eating eggs, hypocrite?
for them from someone else's backyard hens. That is certainly better.
And like I said, maybe fry them, or scramble them, but don't overcook them. Use butter and salt.
Better than supporting this or some bullshit free range farm. But there's not really an ethical option for milk, and certainly not for
You stupid idiot. Of course there is. It's the same deal.
fish. So if you're going to feed these foods to your kids or to your pets or to yourself, really anybody, please consider offsetting. It just means trying to offset the damage you're doing by donating money to effective charities. If it were me, I would keep track of what I spend and give the equivalent amount to something like Faunalytics. Of course, I would be remiss not to mention cultured foods, clean meat, clean egg, clean milk, whatever you want to call it. There are some very, very smart people out there doing their darndest to make animal products.
Yeah, and they're not nutritious at all. They're really not. I heard they taste like literal crap. I heard someone say they tried it and it made them gag. So tell me again how that's clean and healthy and everything else.
Without the cruelty. I have tried several of these here on my channel. My kids have all tried them as well. Brave Robot, of course, my favorite vegan ice cream. It is animal-friendly ice cream made with Perfect Day whey. Those cool macarons using the every egg protein. I've also got more Perfect Day whey in just a whey protein powder that I am putting off trying because it has stevia. Fuck. This sector is growing, and it's only a matter of time before these products and more animal-friendly products are available in regular grocery stores. I mean, you can already buy Brave Robot at Kroger. Point is, once we have cruelty-free counterparts, once we have animal-friendly egg and milk and fish on the market, then none of this will matter. Ethically speaking, there's still those of us who...
There's no freaking ethics to this. You're not doing anything ethically right to yourself here. At all. Maybe to your brain, but not to your body and not to your soul. You know deep down you are suffering. You are dying inside. You feel like crap every day. I remember the video you put up about saying how you were like dizzy and stuff. Like, woman, obviously, this is your diet. Come on, I do not have these problems anymore. I don't have those problems anymore. Come on.
Feed fucking salmon. Oh God. I can't even imagine that smell in my house.
gosh, salmon, so disgusting. I hate the smell of it. It's not like I've smelt worse. It's not like I've smelt like haddock before, which, by the way, haddock smells way worse. Blech. I can't be around haddock and I can't be around tuna. Does that mean I'm going to stop eating fish? No, if I'm offered some, if I'm at a place and all they've got's like fish, if it's like a fish chowder or something, I love fish chowder, y'all. Love it. If I can't stand the smell of meat, for example, and yet I want to eat meat, I'm gonna eat meat. If it's being made weird, and if I find it tastes weird, then I won't eat it. But so long as if it smells weird but tastes good, tastes normal once it's done cooking and everything, you know. Now, lobster's another hard one. I can't really stomach that one very well either. And certain fish on their own I can't. But if it's in a fish chowder, you bet I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat that right up.
Several times a week. Even if I'm not cooking it, like you buy, like, I don't know, how do you buy salmon? I don't think I've ever even had salmon in my life.
Well, there you go. There you go. You don't know how gentle salmon is on the nose in comparison to everything else. You disgusting, contradictory, hypocritical person.
I know what it smells like. Even milk. Milk is straight vomit. I remember my...
Yeah, I wonder why. You're buying 2% and maybe even skim. Blech, gross, don't even. Just, ugh. I had milk once that was like water, okay? And it's pasteurized. Big no-no. Stop drinking pasteurized milk if you are having stomach problems. Try raw milk first, okay? Raw milk from a fresh dairy farm that knows how to properly handle their milk production.
brother always having so much milk. Big glass of milk with dinner. It just leaves such a musty, like, barf flavor in your throat. I would love a study on long.
That is not funny. It's probably reflux.
Term vegans and our like food preferences before going vegan, because I would not at all be surprised if those of us who have been vegan for, I don't know what you would say, long, 10 plus years, something like that, never really liked animal products, right? Or only liked certain ones, more processed ones. That was always for me. I mean, I didn't really like eating something off the bone. Ugh. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if
I don't like being a human. It's disgusting. I hate eating meat. That's just so scary. And disgusting.
you would find that people who stay vegan longer tend to not care for animal products, at least as much.
At least as much. Deep down, you want some freaking beef.
Maybe cheese, right? Everyone likes cheese.
Oh, see? There you go. There you go.
So that's it. I'm sure I'm going to get some angry people in the comments saying I don't really care about my kids' health or something like that. And, you know, we need to do everything we can to prevent anything. I mean, that's kind of what they say in the Plant-Based Baby Toddler book. Obviously, we won't do anything in our power to prevent something terrible. Again, we strap babies into death machines on a regular basis. You have to weigh the risk.
Oh my gosh, woman. Get a grip!
Risks and the benefits. And again, for me, I don't want to kill fish so that my kid has a reduced risk for a fish allergy. Fish lives matter too, and that needs.
What do we want? Animal liberation! What do we want it? Yeah! Yeah, you know what I want? Human liberation. I want to have the right to do whatever the heck I want, whenever I want, so long as I'm not injuring or hurting other people, and so long as I'm not, in danger of, getting myself actually arrested. And going to buy meat will not get me arrested. So there you go.
Needs to be taken into consideration. But I would love to know what you guys think, particularly you vegan parents out there, particularly those of you who have older kids and you've gone through this. Did you introduce these allergens? Maybe you're pregnant and you're thinking about it, or you've decided. Are you going to introduce these allergens, milk and egg and fish? I would love to know. And you anti-vegans out there with children, do you regularly give them almond and walnut and sesame? Just curious. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you did enjoy this. I hope this was informative. Maybe it helped you make your own decision. I don't know, but yeah, thank you so much. Leave a like if you liked the video. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff from me. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when I upload a new video. And thank you so much to my patrons at patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. And that's it for me. Thank you again, guys. New video soon. Oh, and I do still have shirts. I got a comment that seemed to suggest that, I don't know, some
Okay, I don't care about your shirts. Okay, she sounds very anemic because her voice goes out like this sometimes. I don't know if she's purposefully doing that or what, but you can hear the anemia. Yeah. And, yeah, she just hates her, she hates that she's human and has to eat protein and get the protein from actual animal sources, not freaking nuts and seeds and stuff like that. She doesn't want her kids to grow up, apparently. And yeah, you can keep your kids small and have them live a sort of Peter Pan style in Never Never Land, sort of, if you want to call it that, eating these animal nutrient devoid meals. So yeah, that is her. That is her, and she doesn't even want to show her kids because deep down she knows that she's not doing well, her kids aren't doing well, and yeah. So that is it for this one. I am on my desktop again because my tablet has decided to go bye-bye. I'll see you later.